She is nails her first free throw. She is a 75% free throw shooter on the year. And she goes 2 for 2. Blakely bringing it up the court a little slower. She goes for the pass, forces it a little bit, and Serena Sundell gets it on the steal. Poindexter, one dribble back to Sundell. Sundell driving right side and the side of the rim. It's going to be rebounded by Blakely.
That's one of the passes immediately leaves your hands. You go, oh no, shouldn't have thrown it. That's a long pass to make against K-State. Length of their guards. That's just not a wise pass.
Yeah, both teams have talented guards, but K-State definitely has the size. As moving in, fading to the left again, Bolareva unable to come up with points. Guarded that time from Kennedy Taylor. As Jaelyn Glenn out to Poindexter. She's stepping back. This is a long 2. Off the rim, offensive rebound, and looking for the foul, does not get it. Solid defense from Middle Tennessee. We talked to Coach Rick Insel. He said he wanted to push the tempo, but if it's not there, slow it down, eat up the shot clock as 15's left on it.
You're exactly right. They talked about what we call early or late. They either want to score in transition or they're going to run this clock down. We're at 7 right now, and again, that's what they're for.
Blakely hesitating on the shot now, pulls up from mid-range, doesn't get it. Be a foul called, and it's going to be K-State ball.
You know, that's another thing that Coach Insel talked about. You notice right there they sent 3 or 4 people to the board. They really want to send their players to the offense boards to keep K-State blocking them out so that they can't make transition run-outs.
Exactly. K-State ball when we come back. Bill Snyder Classic, Year 2 coming up. Welcome back. It is a 7-5 ball game. Kansas State leading. Right away, we see both teams pushing the tempo.
Yeah, that's what we both heard from both coaches. They wanted to really push the ball like we talked about. Middle Tennessee State wants to score early or late in the shot clock. K-State's a little more forgiving. But you know Middle Tennessee State's got to feel good right here. You know pregame they had to talk about let's get to the first media timeout, be up 1 tied or down 2 in that area, and they got that done. It takes a lot of pressure off your team. A nationally ranked team that you're already the first media timeout and you're where you want to be.
Yeah, and you've settled into the game. And this is not a game that you want to just roll over, get into the conference play. This is a confidence booster, win or lose. If you hung in there with the 13th ranked team, Kansas State, and you're getting a lot of experience battling with some All-Americans.
Yeah, it's a great experience for Middle, like they've had it already this year. But, you know, they're a championship-level team in their own rights in the Conference USA, winning the last 2 Conference USA championships.
Glenn hesitated a little bit before the shot off the front of the rim. Courtney Blakely pushing the tempo. 3-on-3. Here's Gregory. She has all the points for Middle Tennessee, and she gets fouled from beyond the arc. She's going to get 3 foul shots.
Well, there we see it again. Missed shot. Middle Tennessee State's doing a great job of transitioning the floor. They're getting their shooters down in the wing area. The point guard's pushing the ball. K-State's a little bit slow getting back right now, getting those people covered up. So going to get a chance to shoot 3 here, and the first time to take a lead in the game potentially. Yeah, and this is one of the better free throw shooting teams in the country is Middle Tennessee as Gregory knocks that first one down. And she'll get the second. Middle Tennessee on the year right now. They're shooting 74% from the charity stripe. That's best in Conference USA right now. It's Gregory nailing all 3. She has all 8 points for Middle Tennessee as they take an 8-7 lead here in the first. Glenn moving it. Here's Terrence side. She's been the story. Spin move, trying to find some room, but Gregory with solid defense. Beautiful pass to Sundell. Sundell in and out. Fighting for the rebound. Gets it is Kennedy Taylor as she lands on the floor. Glenn again from 3. Got it. Boy, I tell you, they make you pay for missed shot, rebound, 3-pointers. It's the hardest thing in the game of basketball is to get back balanced out when you crash the boards and getting back out to the 3-point line.
And right away, Kennedy Taylor getting on the boards there with an offensive rebound. As we go the other way.
Got an illegal screen down on the baseline by the post player. And, you know, Middle Tennessee State's running what we talked about, some UCLA cut, a lot of ball screen action, and they set a lot of screens, forcing K-State to defend.
Here's Sides with it. Over the summer, Taryn Sides shot 700 three-pointers a day. Working on her game, Coach Mitty knew that she could be a phenomenal shooter as miscommunication. K-State turns it over.
Coach Mitty talked about this morning. Their guards aren't used to this in-your-face, up in the passing lane, and they're forcing K-State into some characteristic turnovers. Keep in mind, Kansas State is number 2 in the nation assist-turnover ratio. Yeah. So any turnover comes by surprise.
It's something struggled on early at Texas A&M, where early on A&M was having some success. Called on sides. A&M had success early, and that was a low-scoring first quarter, and then K-State blew it up. Ended up with 28. The first 4.5 minutes, they only had 4 points, and they finished that first quarter with 28.
Well, so much of basketball is about flow and timing, and, you know, K-State's already missed a couple threes that if they made those, you know, we'd be looking at a 16-8 game, and it feels a lot different than 10-8.
Here's Middle Tennessee again. Gregory in and out. Moving up the floor, Sundell looking inside. She had a triple-double 2 games ago. She floats in the air. This one won't fall for her.
It'll be interesting to see they call on this. 22, okay. If that was on Boulder-Review, we were going to have a problem. That would be 2 fouls early, and it'll be interesting. You know, most coaches, you could pick up 2 in the first quarter, you're done for the rest of the half. So I guess lucky that foul was on Scott instead of Boulder-Review.
Yeah, we saw both Lee and Boulder-Review get out of the game for a moment. Now they're both back in, and Lee shooting free throws, misses the first. Lee is a 2-time All-American. She is the star of this team. She does it all. She's been there for a while now, and coming off of a couple injuries in the years past, now back and healthy. If her minutes look down, it's just a Coach Mitty decision. Smia Scott running up the floor. Lee missed both free throws. Enrique looking around. And Blakely will set up at top.
We're seeing some zone for the first time.
So already looking for an adjustment as Scott, their leading scorer, hands it to Enrique. Enrique catches it. Back to Scott, making Glenn jump. Now a mid-range 2.
Nice
and it's
shot.
good.
Nice patience on offense like they talked about earlier late. Nice shot fake. Made the K-State kid leave the floor on a shot fake. I'm impressed with Middle Tennessee State's patience on the offensive end of the floor.
It looks like another foul was called, and this one's on Enrique.
And for the Wildcats, number 2, Temira, Poindexter.
And that's going to put Kansas State in the bonus now for the rest of the quarter, and that's something you got to be careful of with that aggressive defense, is unnecessarily putting people at the free throw line. You know, it's the one place I can still make shots because it's unguarded.
And Ayoka Lee, she missed her first 2, but usually a 62% shooter.
Wow, 0 for 3. That's not a good start for Ayoka.
Yeah. Both Lee and Sundell yet to get on the board for Kansas State. As she gets that one.
Well, keep in mind, this is a neutral floor. This isn't a home floor for us, so either team's having to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
Kansas State hopping into a 2-3 half-court trap right here, trying to see if they can get Middle Tennessee State to speed up a little bit.
And speeding up, it looks like they are, as Scott gets that one knocked away, keeps it in. Blakely gets it inside to Boulder-Review, won't go.
Well, that was a great pass. Great pass by the point guard right there. Boulder-Review just couldn't quite get her hands on it, but great vision. Middle Tennessee State's great about tacking the paint off the dribble, and then they'll try to dump.
And it seems like they're just hurting them right now with missing shots. They are getting open. They're able to work through this State defense. As Walker gets it inside to Lee. Lee wastes no time getting it up, but solid defense from Middle Tennessee. No fouls, and we're moving forward. Blakely bounce pass to Boulder-Review, and she's going to get called on the travel.
Well, that's one of the Middle Tennessee State talked about was Boulder-Review's ability to beat Ayoka Lee down the floor, and you saw that right there in transition. Forced K-State to bring another player over to help, and you know, right now, I'm going to say Middle Tennessee State's game plan's working about as close to what they expected.
Yeah, the only thing they could get better is making shots as this one flies and won't go from Poindexter. She's letting it fly early as she reaches down, slips a little bit. That's a couple times now seen players slip. Gregory for 3. Bang. Gregory's herself tonight already. with 8 points. Walker gets the handoff from Glenn. Now Sundell as whistles blow.
Well, we had two bigs down there battling pretty intensely. I think the officials right now are going to call that tight early. They don't want to see something get a little bit out of control. But those two were going after it pretty hard there. And, of course, Ayoka is great about posting up. She's getting herself to the free throw line. She's just got to get him in the basket.
They called that on Jada Granum. That's her foul of the night. Lee knocks that one in. Battle of the bigs, and so far it's been the guards that have been getting all the points in. Lee looking for her 3rd point of the night, and she'll get it. Tied at 13 with a minute left in the first. Two teams with great defenses battling tonight, where Kansas State, they are 2nd in the nation with points allowed a game, holding it at 50. Excuse me, that's 2nd in the Big Ten, 50 points per game. As Scott, mid-range jumper, gets it to go.
That was about an inch away from hip. You know, one of the things Middle's going to have to be careful about is that cross-court pass with K-State's length at the guard, but really surprised early. Jeff's gone to zone. We talked to him yesterday. That wasn't going to be something they really thought they're going to have to look at.
That's good boxing from Marike to not allow Lee for a 2nd attempt. 15-13, Middle Tennessee. Swift moves from Blakely, doing a little too much now as Glenn picks it off. This Wildcat defense is known for stealing the ball away. They average almost 10 steals a game.
Well, as you're watching this game, one of the things you can see, K-State's having to start their offense clear up the floor. And they're used to, we watched this morning in shoot around, they run their offense at the 3-point line. Right now, Middle Tennessee State's doing a great job of pushing them up the floor, making it harder to get in their offense.
Poindexter had an open shot, and this one forced from Scott, looking for the buzzer beater. Gets blocked, but Middle Tennessee
making threes. Middle Tennessee State winning that statistic battle right now.
Has something to watch for this rest of this game as Sides dumps it down to Monty Lester. Lester looking around, gets it back to Sides, sends it out to the corner. And right now the Wildcats are struggling against this Middle Tennessee defense. Ziona Walker for 3. In and out of the rim. We've seen a couple of those as rebounded from Marike. Blakely facilitating the offense here. Tries to get it inside. It's going to be foul called on Lester. It was a little too aggressive behind Boldoreva. Something we're seeing a lot early. The whistles are blowing.
They are. This is a pretty tight called game, and I don't know who that favors. I would think K-State with their depth that would favor, but you know, right now,
Gregory a 3. Won't go, and Walker will bring it up. Walker trying to push it. Sends it back to Sides. She is dangerous. Sundell cross court from the corner. Rebounded from Lester. Lester trying to go up with it. No foul called there.
6'7" is a factor. You can't teach height.
As Lee is on the bench for right now. Middle Tennessee trying to take advantage. Here's Blakely from the top. Bounce pass to Marike. Out to Blakely. As she's looking for some movement. Gregory now. She has 11 points on the night already. And another whistle blows from inside. It's going to be on Lester again.
Well, we saw Middle Tennessee State working on this play yesterday. They called this zipper. K-State knew it. They have the call, but they ran it to perfection, getting that high-low from the high post down to the low post. And, of course, Ayoka's coming back in. Coach Smitty's not going to watch that too long. That's just too easy of an entry pass and getting it too deep in the lane.
Yeah, as Ayoka Lee comes in, Lester had 2 fouls on back-to-back possessions. Gregory is the one throwing it in. Marike trying to move in. They couldn't get the ball in last time. This is going to go back and picked up from Blakely. Poindexter's out of position. Here is Scott driving in, getting it over Lee somehow, and it won't fall. Poindexter coming from all the way behind, but is going to knock it out of bounds. Middle Tennessee is going to get another opportunity here.
Well, K-State's just a little bit loose, you know, and I don't know. You know, we were in the shoot-arounds, we were in the practices. They fully knew what to expect here. Right now, their kids just got to take their intensity up a level to match Middle Tennessee State.
Middle Tennessee is bringing it tonight. traveling nearly 640 miles from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, to the Civic Arena.
That was great weak side help by Sundell coming over to block that shot on the 6'7" kid.
Both coaches on their feet right now. Both well-decorated coaches with wins.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Both these guys are used to winning, understand games to be played, understand how to recruit, have great programs. They both know what it's like to win championships.
Here's point. Transfer from Tulsa gets taken away from Gregory. What a first half she's having as she brings it in and gets the lay-in. Timeout called from Coach Mitty. He is not like he's seeing.
No, I know that feeling, and that's a timeout there that, you know, you just came out of starting a new quarter. You know, you don't want to burn a timeout, but he's not happy with the kids' intensity. He knew defensively this handoff that K-State loves to do on the perimeter, that the Middle Tennessee State kids knifed that, meaning that instead of going under that handoff, they try to fight over the top and get their hands in there. And Middle Tennessee's being really handsy, meaning their hands are getting on a lot of tips. We used to count tips in games, and for about every 2.5 or 3 tips you get, it forces a turnover. And that's something right now they're causing K-State some problems with their defensive intensity.
And something I'm surprised with is Kansas State, their inability to stop Middle Tennessee right now. Middle Tennessee has 17 points in the second quarter. K-State, usually if their offense is moving slow, their defense can keep them in the game. Right at a 4-point game, but Middle Tennessee is really bringing it to them and pushing the pressure on offense, even with the mistakes they.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier, you know, Kansas State averages about 89 points a game, where Middle Tennessee State's at about 59. Even though Middle Tennessee State likes to push it, they're just playing really smart in their shot selections, when they shoot, and what I call timing of shots. And so, you know, if you were to look at who's got a better chance of winning if the game's into the 60s, you're going to say Middle Tennessee State. If this gets up in the 80s, I don't think Middle Tennessee can score with them. So right now, if you were just to take the game average and averaging it out, right now this is playing in the Middle Tennessee State's favor. Jeff's looking for a combination of players that's going to ignite enthusiasm. He's subbed probably more right now than he normally does. Yeah. He's trying to find a combination that's going to get out there and get it done.
And for right now, one of their stars come off the bench, Taryn Sides. She's come in a couple of times. She's only been able to shot off, and it was blocked for 3 over the last 5 games. Said it before, 68%. And she's been one of the people that have been able to ignite the offense when they've not been able to settle into the games. Sundell, again, she's another one that she's got a lot of fans here tonight. And for right now, she's not getting a lot of points on the board.
Yeah, well, you know, and on the flip side, I understand Kansas State's frustration. You're down 4, shooting 16.7%. You got to at least feel good about the fact that you're only down 4 when you're shooting 16%. And we know K-State, they can go put up numbers in a hurry. Yeah. And all of a sudden, if they string together back-to-back threes, get a steal, get a transition layup, and change the complexity of this game. The key is how well is Middle Tennessee State about getting into that situation.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the players, Temira Poindexter, someone who usually shoots 36% from 3, 48 from the field. She's 0 for 5 from 3, 1 for 6 right now as a whole. Sides driving in left side, kicks out to Sundell. Here's good ball movement. Down low to Lee. Now Poindexter free. Leaves it short.
Great offense.
Rebounded from Gregory.
You know, they're still doubling Ayoka Lee. They're making her kick it out backside. Wide open 3. They're just not finishing the shot. Offensively, it was exactly where the ball needed to go.
Right off of the timeout, Gregory inside. Surrounded from Wildcats. Boldareva picks it back up, and now Middle Tennessee looks to restart. They had nothing. Now the shot clock is 6. Here's Blakely. Off the back of the rim, rebound Lee. Here comes K-State. Sides, down to Sundell. She has the size advantage. Out to Walker. Walker, a 3. Got it to go. Zana Walker's on the board now with a 3-point shot. K-State drops their deficit down to 1. We calling a play. Walker going for a steal, diving on the floor for it. Here's the effort you're looking for if you're a Wildcat fan. Maybe a little too aggressive, going the Wildcat way. Players all over the court diving for the ball.
Blakely coming up a little bit limping, some aggressive man defense there. She got clipped a little bit. Hopefully she's not too hurt. But there's that intensity. There's that getting on the floor, diving on a loose ball, going after 50-50 balls. That's what's going to get you rolling as a team and get you back in the game. We'll see if they can build off that last possession and that last three-point shot.
This is the fourth all-time meeting between these teams. This is Coach Mitty's first time playing Middle Tennessee as Walker finds herself in a pickle, gets it to Lee. Lee's always the scapegoat whenever you're not sure what to do. You just throw it up to her. As Glenn inside. Scoop it up off the front of the rim. Rebound, Ayoka. She's doing a great job right now boxing out.
Yeah, Ayoka really done what I thought she'd do. She's got a good body. She's got good physique. She's got good strength. But again, here's another unforced turnover. K-State's really picking up their defense.
Poindexter try to go to the rim with it. Now out the sides. Poindexter still on the ground. Tipped away from Middle Tennessee. It's going to be Kansas State ball from below the basket.
Well, I tell you, Middle Tennessee State is probably one of the handsiest teams I've seen.
Yeah.
They get a lot of deflections and pokes. They're really, really good in their man defense.
Some fouls early is, here's the double team again. Poindexter out in the corner. In and out once again. And it's going to be a foul on Lee.
Wildcats foul number 50, Ayoka Lee. Team number 3. In for the Wildcats, number 12, Kennedy Taylor.
Ayoka Lee getting called for the foul. Looks like that is her first of the night. It's Middle Tennessee gets away again.
She's been in and out of the game 4 or 5 times now already.
Coach Mitty said she can play 35 if she wants, but he likes to keep her down to 20-25. Gregory, a three off the front iron. Rebound from Ayoka. Offensive rebounds don't come easy for Middle Tennessee. They have another opportunity here as we're nearly halfway through the second quarter. Blakely out to Ayoka. Ayoka, mid-range jumper, swish.
It's probably been the biggest surprise in the game right now, Kyle. We got Middle Tennessee State out rebounding Kansas State 19-13.
And here's another foul called on Kansas State. Middle Tennessee is getting the ball back. Kennedy Taylor.
Kennedy Taylor, the first team number 4.
Another big for this Kansas State team. Gets called on the foul inside. If you're Coach Insel, Rick or Matt, you got to be happy right now.
Yeah, they're both got to be excited. It's a good thing Coach Insel left his boots at home because we probably hear him stomp on the floor.
Yeah, he wore cowboy boots to practice last night. Elected to go for a more dapper dress shoe fit tonight.
You got to love it when a coach shows up wearing cowboy boots.
Trying to force a pass. Luckily gets the ball back. Here's Taylor moving inside off the bottom of the backboard. And can't get it to fall. It's going to be a foul on Ayoka. That is Ayoka's first.
21, Ayoka. Her third, team number 1.
As
22,
Kennedy Taylor is going to be shooting some free throws.
At the line, 12, Kennedy Taylor.
We'll have to get a check on that.
Excuse me, yeah, says Ayoka is at 3 fouls now.
That's a factor because her physicality really in that forward position has been a big part of the game right now.
Yeah.
Her blocking out on Ayoka Lee has been tremendous.
Yeah, that was a team first for this quarter, but her third foul of the night. Huge storyline moving forward. Taylor gets them both down.
Well, the one thing, K-State is in a battle at getting to the free throw line. They're now, been there 10 times versus Middle Tennessee being there 3 times.
Usually for Middle Tennessee, their games, they're getting to the foul line a lot more often. Just one foul.
Kansas State back into that 2-3 trapping zone, trying to see that ball got tipped.
Slightly tipped from Sundell, and Kansas State gets forward.
Her length is amazing for a perimeter player. I mean, she started inside the 3-point line.
As the ref calls it tip, so no backcourt violation.
Yeah, I was waiting to see if I was waiting for the whistle to blow. I thought that was going to be a backcourt violation.
Taylor over the right shoulder, can't get it to fall. Boldareva on the rebound. And right now, Boldareva's in the game. Ayoka Lee is out. We'll see if they try to utilize her as she tries to pick off Sundell for the pick and roll. Won't go.
Oh, you're going to find out
Moving
right
inside.
now.
Here's Boldareva. Here's the matchup. Scoops it, but won't get it. She's getting decent looks, just not able to get the baskets to fall. Glenn for 3. Off the front iron. Again, shooting is a struggle for Kansas State right now. Going the other way. Here's Blakely. Crossing over. to get it up. No foul called. And we'll see if Kansas State tries to slow it down. They're going to move it forward. Sundell inside, gets fouled. Foul called on, I believe, that's Branham. And it is. Another person, another big for Middle Tennessee. That's 3 fouls right now.
At the line, number 4.
Well, Middle Tennessee State just subbed in what I call the shooter package. They've got both their shooters on the floor now.
Yeah.
If K-State stays in that 2-3 zone, I think that's why they just put her in, because I think that's going to increase their ability. They're thinking their shots are going to come from 3 right now.
Sundell misses the first.
This end of the floor has just not been kind to Kansas
Yeah.
State this half. I mean, they're struggling at the free throw line, they're struggling at the 3-point line, they're struggling at the 2-point line, but yet you look up at the scoreboard and they're down 3.
Yeah, and they're going to get another shot here at the free throw line. Sundell knocks this one down. 21-19, Middle Tennessee still leads. Person with the ball right now, that's Savannah Davis. She's a freshman from McKenzie, Tennessee. She was pretty good in high school.
Yes.
She has the Tennessee record, 17 three-pointers made in one game.
And that's just amazing.
2-time Miss Tennessee basketball. Here she goes. Bounces it down low to Boldareva. Boldareva getting inside and scooping it in.
Well, that's that international flavor. I call that Euro step. She started with that ball above the line, didn't put it on the floor and got to the basket and put a layup in. That says a lot about her ability.
The wonders you can do when you're 6'7". Sundell can't get this one to fall, but gets fouled. Once again, Sundell has 1 point right now. A lot of her shots just a little lucky, bouncing off the back iron. It feels like it's hitting parts of the nylon. This is out. But she'll be at the line now. Sundell went 26, 10, and 13 against USC Upstate. She's second in K-State history with 620 assists in her career.
This is Milanovic's time in the game, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see what she brings to the game.
Yeah.
A long guard, I know why they're probably getting her in. Kansas State's got all the size on the perimeter. So it'll be interesting to see, you've been sitting on the bench for the whole game. All of a sudden, coach throws you in. We'll see how she handles that. Kansas State still in that 2-3 zone, really trying to pick up the pressure.
Yeah,
that's a long pass. They're coming close to deflecting that every time.
Anna Milanovic is working inside, number 24 on your screen. She is from Serbia. That's good defense right now from the Wildcats. Outside to Scott. Scott is moving around and gets it to fall. Ball bounced off the rim a couple of times before it finally got in. 2 minutes away from halftime. And it's 26-21 K-State. Sundell. Savannah Davis working. Ayoka Lee inside.
Well, they're just a little bit slow. They're making Ayoka post up way too long. Post players can hold that post up position like he had for about 2 seconds.
Sure.
And then it gets harder to keep it. One, you got the 3-second call actually coming. Then post players start using arms to hold people off. So Kansas State's got to be a little bit quicker about getting her the ball when she wants it. She's 2 feet from the basket.
Yeah, and she's someone that can creep their way to the basket. You want to start her at the elbow, she'll find her way back down where she's just 2 feet away. Sundell gives it up to Lee. Lee fighting for it. She's between 2 players. Gets it back to her. She draws the foul.
Well, when you look at it here, we're talking about Kansas State's second leading scorer, I believe. Ayoka is maybe the leading scorer. She's had 1 field goal attempt.
Yeah. She's the all-time State leading scorer.
Yeah.
1 field goal attempt
1
right
field
now.
goal attempt. So that tells you how great a job Middle Tennessee State's doing limiting her touches. And I think part of that is because Middle's out-pressuring the guard with the ball really hard. And it's making the guard have to focus on taking the ball as opposed to just lobbing grenades into Ayoka.
And all of her points right now are from free throws. She's up to 3. This one out. And look at that. Only Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders waiting to rebound.
Kansas State back man-to-man off of this free throw here. We're going to see the high-low game right here now.
Milanovic gives it off to Gregory. Gregory driving in right side. Tries to send it back. Miscommunication there from Middle Tennessee. Here's Scott. Finding her way to the middle. Puts the ball up, and it gets shut down from the Wildcats. Sundell with it, ball in the right hand. Gives it up to Glenn. Sundell at the top. Really trying to find Lee down low. And they're going to get called offensive foul.
Well, that's going to get a rise out of the fans, you know. Whether that was a basketball player or not, she turned. I think they're going to go look at it to see if there was any type of above-the-shoulder call there. I think that's why the officials have both teams going to the bench. I think they're going to go look at a replay here and see if that turn was high and did it catch her in the face. You know, the rule at this level is depending on if someone's in your space or not, but do you lead with any intent? I didn't see any intent there. No. I thought it was a basketball play. But again, you're looking at Tennessee's just not giving any room for Ayoka Lee to catch the ball. No. I don't know if I've seen a game this year where someone has crowded her as effectively as they've crowded her and taken away the inside play on the same night that they're not shooting well from the three-point line.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the keys. When you focus so much on one player, the other ones tend to shine. But when they're shooting poorly from the field, you look like a genius.
Well, I mean, we've sat here and we talked about it. I didn't think it could go down, but they're now at 15.4% field goal shooting. I mean, we're talking about a team that shoots 51% a night.
Yeah. It's an unbelievable job Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders are doing, and for Kansas State, it's a neutral site game, but they have to travel 500 miles less than Middle Tennessee does. There's a lot of K-State fans all around, but for right now, it's all Middle Tennessee. They're really shocking me right now.
Oh, I'm super impressed. And, you know, we talked about it later this morning after we had a chance to see both practices, both shoot-arounds. I watched Kansas State's practice, and I thought the energy level was high. They were alert. The kids were listening. Their scout was on point. There's nothing that Coach Walls has not talked about, or Coach Mitty, sorry. There's nothing that Coach Mitty hasn't talked about that hasn't taken place.
Yeah.
Whether it be their set plays, their half-court offense, they're pushing the ball in transition, and then the double. They act like the double is something they're completely surprised about a little bit. It's really affecting the game.
Yeah, Lee has not been able to find the outlet pass.
Offensive foul, nothing excessive or unnecessary.
Officials just alerted us it was just a common foul, nothing excessive, so Middle Tennessee is going to take it and put it in play with a minute 31. And, you know, this minute 31, if you're Middle Tennessee State, you just want to get through this last minute and 30 and have nothing spectacular happen on K-State's end.
Yeah, you're up by 4 right now against 13th ranked team in the country. Conference play starts for them in a little less than a month. They are playing like they are for it. Boulder down low, it's going to get called on a travel. Going the other way now.
Well, you can definitely see why Middle Tennessee State two-time Conference USA champion.
Yeah.
You know, there's no fear here. They're playing a Big 12 team to win the Big 12. They've come out here and played pretty fearless.
Both teams last year making it to the round of 32. Middle Tennessee shocking the nation, beating Louisville last year in the tournament before losing in the next round. Here's Glenn for 3. It's good. Under a minute to go. Middle Tennessee's lead cut down to 1. Despite poor shooting right now for K-State, they are within a 1-score game before halftime. Much closer than what some fans would expect. Here's Courtney Blakely. Down low, Boulder. No double team. It's going to get shut down from Lester. Amani Lester, standing 6'4", able to get to Boulder. 3-second difference between shot clock and game clock. Ziana Walker is going to eat up as much time as she can, just standing on the center logo. Here's Sundell, driving left. No room to work with, kicks that Glenn. Glenn, a free ball, won't fall. Boulder gets it, 3 seconds to go. Blakely heaves it off the front of the rim and no good.
Boy, that was, we're going to see how this goes. But we got 20 minutes of great basketball left, and everybody that's watching this has got to be exciting.
It's going to be a great one, and one of the surprising statistics now where points in the paint, Middle Tennessee at 6. Kansas State only has 2 points in the paint right now.
That's just a flat amazing statistic.
Enrique thought about it, bringing it inside, can't get it to fall. And we've seen that a couple times more early on, just the easy baskets, not able to get them to go.
Well, you know, we saw in practice yesterday when they missed the basket. Coach Insall running baseline. That's a little reminder that they have that when they miss those chippies, it was a chippy, they're going to run for it.
Hey, look at this offensive board from. Looks like the energy and effort is all-time high for the Blue Raiders. Blake working up top. Good defense from Walker. The second opportunity won't go. 3 chances right there for a basket. Come up with no points. Here comes Kansas State. Walker. Sundell dribbling. Poindexter. She struggled from 3 now. But we know that they're not going to be afraid to shoot again, despite their shooting percentage. Glenn been the leader in points right now. Air ball. Lee fighting for it. And Kansas State will keep the ball.
Well, I tell you, I've been impressed with Middle Tennessee State's defense. It's a bend but don't break. They're doing a great job of staying under the ball handler. Great ball penetration, but they're not getting beat into the lane by the guards.
Right now, Jaelyn Glenn leading the way with 9 points as Lee called on the foul. And here is the storyline of the second half. As good as Middle Tennessee has been playing, the 3 players that play inside. Jada Gray, 4 fouls. Arike at 3, Boulder-Rava at 2, now at 3. Boulder-Rava and Arike both with 3 fouls.
That's going to be a factor. If they can stay out of trouble for the next 20 minutes, I think this game has a chance to go on down the wire. But there's going to be a point they get in foul trouble. They're going to have a hard time stopping Ayoka Lee. It is good that they came out and she got a touch. I guarantee you, Coach Mitty at halftime, hey, our all-time leading scorer in the history of our school got 1 shot.
Yeah.
And tone might have been different than I just said.
She gets back to the line there. That is 5 for 9 the free throw line. Here's Gregory. Out to Blakely. Blake takes a step out to Gregory. She's been on fire early on. This one off the back iron. And Temira Scott with a second chance. Shut down from Lee.
Great offensive board, but again, if she's smart, she gets that rebound, takes it back out, and they run another possession. We got some kids tied up here arm-wise. This is going to be interesting to see how they call this.
And they called it on Middle Tennessee. That is Jaelyn Gregory.
Tell you what, they're being very physical. They're putting body on a body anytime K-State tries to cut. They're being really physical.
Middle Tennessee is a team that's very physical. All their starters rack up about 33 to 35 minutes a game. As Poindexter at 3, she nails it. Finally getting one to fall. Maybe it was just a different side of court. Poindexter 1 for 8 from 3, but they brought her over. And they have loved seeing out of her so far. Here's Blakely. Arike, mid-range jumper, gets called for the foul, and it's on Sundell. She can't believe it.
Yeah, a little bit of a silly foul. You know, coaches always tell kids, don't jump at a shooter. And she was doing what we call a little bit of a fly there, and the official called her on it. You know, that's not Arike's comfort zone shooting right there either. You know, so that even kind of makes it a double whammy on the foul.
Yeah, that's not her comfort zone, but the free throw line definitely is shooting 2%. Could be an announcer's jinx. She misses the first one.
I think he got her.
Yeah. Make sure not to say anything this time. As Elena Arike, 5th-year senior. Started at UTEP, went to Texas Tech, now at Middle Tennessee. She nails in the second. K-State, 30 to 27 early on in this second half.
These next 3 or 4 minutes, I think, are going to be hugely important for Middle Tennessee State.
We'll see if they are able to sustain their pressure put on without committing any more fouls. As Walker down low to Sundell. Sundell to Lee. This one waved off, going the other way.
Yeah, again, we talked about it earlier. You know, Ayoka's posted up. She's got both feet in the lane. But K-State guards aren't getting it to her soon enough, and she's, you know, that's the second 3-second call that we've had on Ayoka.
Tennessee now with the ball, blocked down right to Boulder-Rava. Lucky bounce there for the Blue Raiders. They get points off of that turnover. Far pass to Poindexter. Makes Arike jump, now working on her on the baseline. Being aggressive. It gets called on the charge. Maybe a little bit of an elbow.
Coach Smitty's, I think, questioning that call a little bit.
Poindexter was being aggressive against Arike. She gets called on the foul. That's her first. Now Arike at the top. Swings it to Scott. She's had a fine night so far. pulls up mid-range, nails.
You know, we talked about first half, that free throw or elbow shots where they wanted to get a lot of their shot attempts. And when they've gotten to that point on the floor, they've had a great success level making that basket.
Scott has 9 points on the night, shooting 4 for 9 so far. It's been right around that elbow. That's where Duke killed Kansas State.
Yep.
As their one loss, here's Jaelyn Glenn, gets tipped. Scooped up from Lee, Walker. Line, over 2 defenders, and she'll draw the foul. Boulder-Rava can't believe it.
You know, I usually, well, in my career, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't a fan favorite of officials, but that seems like a little bit of a makeup there. I thought that was a pretty good-looking block. Now that she's got her third, now you've got to protect her. 6 minutes left to go in this half. How long are you going to let her set? At what point do you bring her back? But again, I've been tremendously impressed with Middle Tennessee State's perimeter defense.
Right now, Boulder-Rava with 3 fouls. As Walker ties up the game at 31.
You know, Middle got down by 4 and then came back a little run on their own, which says they still got a lot of fight left in them.
And correction, Boulder-Rava is at 4 fouls.
That's not good.
That is a huge factor as we get into the late part of this game. It's a 1-point game. Good ball movement from Middle Tennessee. They find the open. Blake doesn't want to take the shot, driving inside. Ayoka Lee just way too strong, way too tall for Blake.
Well, I know Coach Unsell's not happy about that. She had 2 wide open shots all in the same play and just got too deep. And you can't take that ball to a 6'6" kid trying to shoot over.
Yeah, now with Boulder-Rava out, Lee working down low, gets her first field goal of the night.
That's amazing. 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and she's making her first basket.
She'll still find her way to the 20-point mark, I'm sure. Granum out to Arike. Now it's Gregory. She's been efficient tonight as this ball goes nowhere. Jada Granum over everybody. Kansas State's going to get it out.
Getting ready to say, I think we're going to have a timeout coming.
Yeah.
No sooner, Coach, because I think he feels like maybe they've lost their focus a little bit. That was an unforced error there, just throwing the ball out of bounds. This is a crucial time right here for Middle Tennessee State. They've got to find a way to play without the big kid who's no longer in. We're probably not going to see her until midway of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch. It's always the foul trouble when you got 2 aggressive teams that want to get baskets inside. We're going to step aside for right now. Kansas State leads Middle Tennessee 34-31, 5:46 left in the third quarter. Keep it here on ESPN. Welcome back inside the Civic Arena. I'm Kyle Schmidt, joined alongside my partner, Rob Edmondson. Rob, Kansas State picks it up a little bit in this third quarter. Middle Tennessee called a timeout. They want to adjust. What have you seen Kansas State? Where have they been able to find their success?
Well, obviously this half they've gotten Ayoka Lee touches, and that's made a big difference. And I think Middle Tennessee State's gotten a little bit out of their scout. A couple of times the guards have had shots and they've gotten too deep and got shots blocked, and they've had some unforced turnovers. So, you know, not surprising, the adjustment's going to be, you got an All-American post player at 6'6". You got to get the ball to her. She's got to touch it every possession. Doesn't mean she has to shoot it every possession, but the ball's got to go through her every possession. And I think if you see that starting to happen, you're going to see them start stretching this game out.
And we're going to see a new Blue Raider on the court, Miyoshi Mason. She played just 4 quarters last season. 4 games last season. Glenn looking around there is already going to whistle blow early on, and it's going to be on Mason.
Blue Raiders foul number 40.
They're digging deep as a lot of their bigs are in foul trouble.
I think Coach Unsell counted how many fouls he had throughout his post players, and he probably told them, let's use every one of them in this game. And they definitely are. And
Mason's somebody that can be hyper aggressive here early on. Already with 1 foul now. Lee kicks it out after the double team. They find side. She's been fire as of late and gets it to fall. Terrence Sides, a sure thing beyond the arc.
Well, that's the first time I could say they weren't sticky-handed. Their offense there was tremendous. They moved the ball. They kept it off the floor. It went from inside out. If you notice, that started with a kick out by Ayoka Lee to the backside. Ball got reversed. Middle Tennessee State ran out of play. They got the open 3.
Here's a 3 from Middle Tennessee. Rattles in and out. It's going to be off the hands of a Blue Raider. It's going to be Kansas State ball. And we have a media timeout here as we've crossed the 5-minute mark. 4:55 left in this third quarter. Kansas State starting to heat up a bit, looking like themselves again, knocking down threes and taking the lead. 6-point game. When we come back, it's the Bill Classic, second annual year. Welcome back inside the Civic Arena. We've got a great ball game tonight, and what fans might have thought was going to be lopsided, Middle Tennessee was over the 13th-ranked Kansas State Wildcats at halftime by 1 point. Now the Wildcats, their shots are falling. Middle Tennessee has to go dig deep, not internally, but into the roster as well with some foul trouble.
Yeah, these next 3 or 4 minutes, we've been saying are going to be crucial because Kansas State is starting to move the ball better around the perimeter. There we go into the inside. That's what they normally do right there. That's tough to stop. The floor's so spread, there wasn't time to get a double there. You know, that's one of the first times she has just caught the ball and turned and scored and not got doubled.
Ayoka Lee at halftime seemed like she didn't have any shots go up. She's 6 for 10 on free throws now, 2 for 3 field goals, both of them coming in this second half. As Boldareva's back in. She has 4 fouls right now as she shoots it over Lee but can't get it to go. A lot of inside shots that have not been falling for Middle Tennessee. This one scooped up from Gregory, can't keep it in play. Kansas State gets lucky there.
Tell you what, I just love the energy that Middle Tennessee State plays with.
Yeah.
Out in the passing lane, still tipping balls. And, you know, they're not going to go easy. Kansas State's going to have to earn it all the way out.
Yeah, and despite this player in foul trouble, I think Coach Rick Insel might have saw that this game was starting to move away a little bit to get her back in. That's Boldareva. Here's Poindexter underneath. Can't get it to go. Enrique on the rebound. Here's Blakely bringing it up the court. We've seen her hesitate from 3. She's only shooting 16% from 3 this season. She had a couple open shots. They're not getting it. It's kick ball.
You almost feel like this is a really important possession.
Yeah.
I mean, you really feel like, we're 39-31. We're down by 8. You almost feel like you got to get a score here or things could get away from it a little bit.
Especially Kansas State now. Able to make some shots. Boldareva fighting for a rebound. Lee, too strong. Here's Poindexter on the transition. Gets it to her left and goes up hard and gets the foul. Temira Poindexter heads to the free throw line.
Well, there's that offensive transition that K-State loves to play with. Off a defensive rebound, we call it rebound outlet and run, and that's what they did. Got it down the floor. Poindexter did a great job of running the lane. Caught Middle Tennessee State not getting back on defense for one of the few times in this game.
Now Poindexter, she was the AAC Player of the Year last year.
And you got to wonder, could some of this start to be fatigue a little bit?
Yeah, you're a team that plays just 5 for more than 3/4 of the game, and you play hard throughout all those 3 quarters. Then you get into some foul trouble, so you don't know how hard you can play, how aggressive you can be. So here's Jaelyn Gregory. She leads the way with 13 points tonight. That's the most for either team, as both teams are finding success in a lot of points. As someone goes down in the paint, that was Gregory. It was Glenn. Disagreeing with the call. The K-State bench loves it. The Middle Tennessee is going to throw it in. Tamia Scott looking to get the game going again. Savannah Davis. Haven't seen too much of her tonight. As another call on Glenn. Back-to-back calls.
I think that's the official reminding her a little bit that I'm official, you're a player. Just about 5 seconds ago, she was trying to help the official with the call, and I think he kind of just let her know, I can handle it.
This is my job.
This is my job.
That's her second foul of the game. Down low, Boldareva working on Lee. Here's the matchup. Lee gets this one. And she's fired up.
She is. Some excitement there. You know, that's one of the things Middle talked about, was trying to get behind her head, make her feet, and go backwards. And she did a great job defensively there.
Boldareva might be more elusive. Lee definitely has the strength. And they're going to double her this time. And it's going to get on Lee. Middle Tennessee, will keep the ball. That's something that we did not expect, is doubling Boldareva. Talking to the coaches this morning, they said we're not going to double her. We have confidence in our guard size, as Savannah Davis drills a three, a much-needed shot.
That's a timely shot right there. You know, that was a kind of extended possession that we talked about, but they really needed a shot there to make a basket and see if this breathes a little life back into them.
Lee, a tough shot, still gets it to go. Orike doing everything she can, could not stop her. Gregory working on sides. Boldureva with the pick. And it's going to be called on sides. Going around Boldureva. It's a 9-point game right now.
Foul number 11, Taryn Sides,
Taryn Sides with 2 fouls. Kansas State as a team has 10. Middle Tennessee with 17. Davis sends it back out to Scott. Scott, she's been great from the mid-range. Bumps it out to Gregory. She thought about it. Trying to move the offense. Calls for a screen. Now to Scott. Scott slowing down. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Lets this one fall. It's going to be slightly tipped, I believe, from Taryn Sides. Poindexter up the court. You still had time on the shot clock. I'm surprised with the shot selection there.
Well, they've got a little bit sticky-handed. They're not moving the ball in their bodies as well as they did the first half. It could be fatigue. You have ball stayed on one side of the floor the whole possession.
And there's Poindexter with a response. She started 0 for 7, has nailed her last 2. She's up to 12 points. Kansas State pulling away. It's a 12-point lead now in the third. They were down 1 when we started this quarter. Gregory trying to find some kind of space. Now Scott. Poindexter working on her. Lee inside. Aggressive no foul called, and it's going Middle Tennessee way. Looked like Scott was not expecting Ayoka Lee to drop back down, put her hands up. Middle Tennessee will get another opportunity here, though, with 1:26 left.
Good substitution right here. Coach Mid's going to let Ayoka Lee have a little break. She'll get a rest this 1:26, and then they break between the quarters. So that's going to be good for her. I tell you, she's had to work hard the whole game. This has been a tough game for her. Middle Tennessee State's done a great job making her work to get catches and get touches. She's had no easy shots. I can think of one basket that I went, oh, that was pretty easy.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, she's had to work hard for every shot. But again, it's the adjustment I think that Coach made at halftime. He probably implored his kids, we got to get her touches.
Yeah, and Ayoka Lee. If you look on the Kansas State team page, it's 3 pages just to get her accolades in before you get to any of her stats. She's a well-decorated athlete, now a graduate. Now she'll be able to hit the bench with 20 minutes game played. With 1:22 left, Scott can't get the second free throw to go, but they get the rebound. Opportunity here for Middle Tennessee, down 11.
They're still battling. You know, that's an offensive rebound tip off a free throw, and they're staying in it. They're going to continue to battle all the way.
And Milanovic is in the game once again. They're able to get Boldureva in and out of the game without committing that foul. Here's Davis, pops a 3. This one's short. Milanovic working for the rebound, but cannot get it.
Well, early in the game, those shots were going in because I think they had the legs. You know, now you're starting to notice these shots are a little bit deeper. I don't know if they quite have the legs they had at the beginning of the first half. You know, but the thing that they're still doing well is the battle boards. They're still out rebounding K-State by 4, which is probably the biggest surprise in the game so much right now.
And that's something not many teams can say they've done.
No.
As a 3-ball go. Jaelyn Glenn. That's her 4th 3 of the night. She's the one player that's been consistent shooting the ball tonight for K-State. She's 4 of 8 from 3. She's got 12 points. K-State has 3 players in double digits now.
You know, we haven't seen the GOAT.
Yeah, we have not seen
the GOAT, which says something about Middle Tennessee State is that K-State's not been able to string together 3 trips down the floor where they've kept them from making a basket. So that's what's kept them in the game, you know, and then they hit a timely shot. You know, again, if you go in the 4th quarter and you're Middle Tennessee State and you're within 10 points, you've got to feel pretty good, truthfully.
You have to feel great as time is winding down. 5 seconds. Poindexter let it fly. And that's how we end the third. Kansas State catching fire, putting up 52 points over 38 to Middle Tennessee. We're heading to the
team down for a while, but it's hard to hold them down for 40 minutes.
It is hard to hold them. 40 minutes is right. 10 minutes left in this one. Jaelyn Glenn with the basketball. You know, Rob, before we headed to break last time, we were talking about, you mentioned a goat. You mentioned a 3-gapped goat. And what that means is when you get 3 consecutive stops on defense, that's a gap, right? And Kansas State as a team, this is one of their main focuses and points of emphasis as a team, which is why their defense is always so strong each year. So last year, they had a girl named Gabby Gregory, and Serena Sundell, and Ayoka Lee got together on Coach Middy's accord. He said, we need to come up with something to get gap stops as the 3-ball flies and goes from sides. I'll stop the story for a Terrence Sides 3-pointer. 2 for 3 on the night. And they have a mascot now called Gappy, the goat, Gappy Goat. And when they get 7 times in the game to get 3 consecutive stops, they're able to put a gold chain around the goat with the number 7 on it. And that's what helps this team be motivated game in and game out. Now, I don't know if the goat will be brought up today just because not too sure how many stops they've been able to get on Middle Tennessee.
I don't even see Gappy over there.
Yeah, I'm not.
Must be in the pen behind the bench.
Yeah, it might be somewhere, but I do know it is here in St. Joseph because on Gappy the Goat's Instagram, of course, they took a picture with it on the flight.
That he made the trip in?
Yeah.
Okay.
He made the trip in.
Well, it's been a
quiet
note for Gappy. And you know, this game right now, it's become an offensive slot for Kansas State. And their ability just to shoot the ball.
And for Middle Tennessee, who started off pretty high, shooting the ball from mid-range, not been able to knock anything down, as Courtney Blakely missed the shot, and we're gonna.
And if you're just switching over right now and turning into this game, by no means has this game not been competitive.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you look at the score right now and you say, oh, I get it. Well, they're still holding Kansas State 35 points under their scoring average. They're making K-State struggle in areas, but obviously the 3-point shot is a separator, and that's what Kansas State is starting to do to spread this game out. And right now, hopefully we can see if they have one more run in them.
Yeah, as Boldareva misses a 3-point shot. She is 7, but she can still shoot from here. Sides slowing it down now. Kansas State, with this kind of lead, you have to think they're going to try and take up most of the shot clock. But if they get an open shot, they will take it as Temira Poindexter gets it to Sides. Sides working. It's working with Blakely. Looking around, she'll get it to Taylor. Taylor Crawford, Sundell a 3. This one won't go. Her shots just haven't been able to fall tonight as Taylor picks up a foul.
Yeah, it's been a tough shooting night for Serena Sundell. You know, being a local, you know, I know she wants to come here and play well, but the rim is not kind to her this evening.
Yeah, and I'm sure if anybody talked with her, she wants the win at the end of the night.
No
She's
doubt
0
about
for
it.
7 from the field. Her 3 points so far come from free throws, although she does have 11 assists.
That's impressive.
She
Again, that goes back to what, you know, State's number 2 in the turnover assist ratio.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. When K-State's moving the ball, when everybody's getting touches and the ball's moving what we call side to side, they're tough to guard because they can really stretch you and more than one kid can shoot the 3.
Yeah. Jaelyn Glenn checks back in, sends Sides off, and Riley getting action. This one can't fall. Sundell with a rebound. Sundell with a basket. Serena Sundell from Maryville, Missouri. Went to Maryville High School. She's got a crowd here tonight for her. And she's in her final season with the Wildcats. And this one picked off. And still trying to work it. It's going to get called a little too aggressive. Savannah Davis, I believe, will be the call. As many players on both sides on the ground.
Well, you know, the first half, we talked a lot about Middle Tennessee State, how handsy they were, how many deflections and tips they're getting. Now it's almost completely switched. Kansas State has really tanked up and increased their defensive pressure, and they're really starting to influence this game from the defensive end of the floor.
And some of it also has to do with maybe the depth. Kansas State has a lot of players they can throw in and be confident in, as Amani Lesser, one of them, at the top of the key now, working in. Not in her shooting range. She hands it off to Poindexter now, back to Lester. Lester gets the bounce. And this game has just opened up. 21-point game now. Blakely going to the left wing. Pass out to Gregory. Gregory, she's impressive tonight. Now Boulder hasn't been able to get these to fall and still won't. Gets her own rebound, gets it in the foul.
She's still staying aggressive, going after her own missed shots. She's playing with 4 fouls. That's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But she's still staying aggressive. I really like her style of play. I think young lady probably has a chance to go on and play after college a little bit. When you look at the WNBA, it's not dissimilar to the NBA. Those big kids that can step out and stretch it and shoot it and put it on the floor. I think she has a lot of traits and skill sets that will probably make her attractive to some WNBA teams.
I have to agree. Tonight she is struggling a little bit from, especially inside the paint, 4 of 18 on the night. And some of these shots, they look open, and she obviously can shoot over everybody. But she finds herself at the free throw line, going to shoot 1. As a Middle Tennessee player is getting worked on the side. Looks like that's Jaelyn Gregory. Gregory is making her 113th start tonight in her collegiate career. That's also another big part of this game that is very different. Gregory, 113 starts. You have Boulder-Ravel with 110. When you look at, they're the only people in triple digits of starts. Kansas State, 4 of their 5 are in triple digits starting, especially with Serena Sundell and Ayoka Lee getting plenty of reps together throughout the years. That experience can go a long way, especially when you can get frustrated. You can find yourself frustrated in a tight game that you were expected to blow them out of the water. Here's Sundell at the elbow. Lester working back to Sundell. Sundell's on the wing. She's trying to find some separation on the double team. Poindexter out, now finds the open Glenn. Glenn from the corner. Of course, Jaelyn Glenn.
Well, that ball went from one corner to the opposite corner. And again, ball movement. Kansas State's ball movement the second half has been at a high level. And, again, we talked about the fact they've got 6 seniors. I don't think they went into rattled. It's nothing they haven't seen before. They've been in tournament play. They've been in close games. They're getting ready to go on the grind to the Big 12.
Yeah.
There'll be more nights like that. But what you're seeing out of K-State is what you expect to see out of a team that's rated in the top 13 in the country. They're a championship-level team.
Yeah, no, definitely. And what you see out of Middle Tennessee, they're able to string what they had in the first half over to the second, which, of course, will happen throughout the course of the season. They're going to be a fun team to watch as well as we get closer to March. But still, we have to get to Christmas first, and Kansas State right now up by 20 as we are nearing 5 mark in the fourth quarter.
I wouldn't want to play Middle Tennessee State in kind of an NCAA tournament or a play-in game.
No. Back-to-back Conference USA champions. They will look to make a run this year. Walker, nifty moves. Gets the ball stripped, but it might have been helped from a foul. It's going to go on 23. As Harrison's going to get sent off after committing that foul. She is still a developing player. She was a ESPN 4-star recruit.
Well, talking to Coach Insel, they're excited about the recruiting class that's coming in the next year. They've got a young lady from over here in the Kansas City area, from the DeSoto area, that's signed to go up to Middle Tennessee State. He's got the Tennessee Player of the Year, a Mississippi Player of the Year. So I think he's excited what's coming in. And, I think as you watch them play and they get back into their league play, they're going to be a force to be dealt with. K-State's picked to win the Big 12 this year, one of the toughest conferences in the country year in and year out. So, the bullseye is on Kansas State. There's no doubt about it. They're going to get everybody's best game.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough Wildcat team to play. They can get points in the paint. They can out-rebound you. They can shoot from 3. And tonight, for example, it's Glenn right now defending on Gregory. She's knocked down 5 of 9 from 3. She's been the only real threat from beyond the arc until Poindexter heated up. Poindexter, when you talk about confidence, she was 0 for 7, now 3 of 10. She's hit her last 3.
Well, here's what's amazing. Kansas State's up to 42% from the three-point line.
Yeah.
Typically, the number that you shoot for from three-point line is anything above 33 or 35%. It equates to 50% or plus two-point shooting. They were 18% the first half. So that tells you what the second has done for them. You knock down threes and you can separate a game really quickly. We kind of came in out of half. We kind of felt like that, is this the beginning of the end when they made that run and got up by 7 or 8?
Yeah.
And the prophecy was fulfilled.
It is a 64-42 game halfway through the fourth. It's been a 2 halves here inside Civic Arena. Kansas State lighting the scoreboard now as we've entered the final 5 minutes of this matchup. Rob, you've seen Kansas State. Where does their success come from?
Well, they've stayed true to themselves. What the success they're having now just didn't come early. You know, they started the game off, missed their first 2 or 3 shots, and it kind of snowballed on. K-State knows who they are. They know what their success is and what they need to do. They came out and they got the ball to Ayoka. She really kind of got him going, got back in her comfort zone. And, you know, right here, she's getting posted up so deep now. There's just nothing you can do.
Yeah.
So, you know, Middle Tennessee State caught K-State early where you need to catch the number 13 team in the country and feel like you can be in the game.
Yeah.
But in the end, you know what? Talent wears out.
They did their job. They have to be proud with their effort tonight as it's 66-42. Gregory getting around Glenn, mid-range, off the back iron. From Maupin. No, she won't be able to keep it in her hands. Gregory working to get it.
I like the fight in Middle Tennessee State there, you know, and that's a reflection upon the culture that Coach Insel has in his program. Those kids are going to play all the way to the end. You know, I think there's a little frustration from the coaches right now. And, you know, anytime you're in a game and you go, hey, we were there, and, you know, they'll go back and look at this film and, you know, they'll see made their mistakes and make their corrections. But, you know, give K-State credit. They stayed poised. They stayed calm. They stayed in what they do. And obviously, it's not a surprise as you look at the scoreboard right now, but it sure was the first half.
Yeah, and if you're tuning in just now, I mean, you would not have thought that Middle Tennessee was up by 1 point against the 13th ranked Kansas State Wildcats. But the Cats really came alive in this second half as time is just winding down. They average 88 a game, and for tonight, they're at 66. As there's going to be a stoppage of play, and it's going to go to the foul line now.
Blue Raiders foul number 21,
Arike with her 4th foul. That's 3 Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders with 4 fouls now.
Ayoka Lee.
But at this point of the game, it does not seem to matter. They're going to play as physical as they can as Lee is going to head to the line. She's at 14 points, now 15, shooting 7 of 11.
You know, you kind of predicted it. You said she'll still get to her 18, even off of no made baskets in the first half, and she's almost there. But, you know, you look at statistics in the first and second quarter, you know, Kansas State was 3 out of 15 and 2 out of 13. Now in the second half, third quarter, they're 8 out of 11 and 5 out of 9 in the fourth quarter. You know, it's just hard to keep them down very long.
Yeah, and that ovation was for Ayoka Lee, who hit the bench for most likely her final time. She will probably watch the rest of the game from the sidelines as Voltareva trying to work inside as gets fouled and will shoot 2.
She's done a great job of staying away from that 5th foul.
Yeah, she's had 4 fouls for most of this second half. She's stayed away from it. Arike picked up her 4th recently, and Granum has 4 as well. She is not in the game. Voltareva knocks down the first one. She's at 9 points now. On the season, she is a 67% free throw shooter. Similar game to the Belmont game, though. She was held 1 for 9 from the field, and Belmont was able to get away from the victory with that. Talking to both the coaches, it seemed like Belmont just has had their number over the last couple of years. Sundell.
Yeah, basketball so much is about matchups, and you know, you play the score. I call it the scores game, where you look, you know, a certain team plays a certain team and wins by 10, and then you go play them and lose by 15, and you go, but yeah, we beat that team by 5. And it's all about matchups. And, you know, this was a good matchup in terms of Middle Tennessee State having a big that challenge Ayoka. But there are a lot of games that Middle Tennessee State plays in the Conference USA that she doesn't have that 6'6" kid playing behind her and causing problems like Ayoka does.
6'6", but also very strong and able to move her body wherever she wants. With Maupin, hands off to Walker. Walker tries to get it up, and it's going to be shut down from Arike, but good effort from Walker getting the ball back. Tries to kick it out, and all the way to the top, hit sides. Working on Gregory, driving right back in, floats it, gets it to the ball. Taryn Sides has found her way to 8 points tonight. 2:40 left.
Jeff looks a lot more comfortable right now than he did the first 20 minutes.
He looked like he was standing in the same position on the court with the same posture. Now he's moving around a little bit. I might have saw him crack a smile. And this one's called on Terran Sides. Crowd doesn't like it. Coach Mitty is smiling. Sides, that's her third foul. And Middle Tennessee will be at the free throw line in the bonus. Both teams with 5 fouls in the quarter. Here's Gregory. Knocks this first one down. She is the leading free throw shooter for the team, 93%.
You know, overall, Kyle, I think it's been a well-called game.
Yeah.
I thought the officials stayed consistent with how they called the inside play and the physicality. When they thought things got too physical inside, they were quick to blow the whistle and get it under control. They've allowed the perimeter players to be a little bit handsy, but they've allowed it on both sides.
Moppin. Thinking if they're going to let me shoot this, might as well. Knocks down the mid-range. Gets it inside, Boldareva. Back out to Ayoka. Now Boldareva again. This one rattles home. She's in double digits. Sundell working on Harrison. Trying to get to this baseline. Kicks it to the corner. Here's this ball movement we've seen tipped away from Gregory. Back to Walker. Moving around well, it's Kansas State, but covering well is the Blue Raiders. Down low, it's going to be turned over. Pass was a little too far. Inside.
Well, that's a tough pass, for a post player. A lot of people don't realize it's like sitting on a chair. They've got their weight on the back of their heels and the back, and you got to get that ball to pretty much come to them. It's hard for them to release off of the defender and go get a ball that's passed down to the baseline.
Here is Harrison. Bounce pass to Gregory. Boldareva can't get the turnaround jumper. Getting close to 60 seconds left. Walker. And look at this aggression from Middle Tennessee as they're going to get a quick timeout.
Yeah, both teams are battling down to the end. K-State's playing hard. Obviously the success they had shooting the ball in the second half was the difference in the game, but Middle Tennessee State's playing hard all the way to the end.
That applause is for the Maryville native Serena Sundell as Walker rims in and out. Sundell is back on the bench. 4 and 50. Sundell and Lee both going to ride the bench for the last 60 seconds. Here's Davis, the freshman, now to Boldareva. Steps inside, floats it back, and that's just been kind of the night for her. In and out. Visibly frustrated.
Yeah, she had a lot of great looks. A lot of that, what we call 6 foot in the end, and a lot of them just rimmed around and came out. I'm sure a lot of that has to do with the fatigue of having to guard Ayoka up and down the floor and the physicality that she plays with during the game.
Yeah, and you have to love it here. The effort that both teams are displaying, despite this game being out of reach. 26 seconds left. Kansas State, that was mopping.
Getting some good minutes here at the end of the game. I know that's a player that they'll look at as they go into Big 12 play. She could really be a spark for them coming off the bench. She's so athletic, she's long, can shoot it from the inside and out. I think that's someone that if you're looking for who's that player that could come out and surprise people in the Big 12 play, I think she's a candidate for it.
We'll see what they have coming up later on, but for right now tonight, it's Kansas State. 13th ranked for a reason, 74-48 over Middle Tennessee. It was a great